Hello everyone, my name is Efren, and this is the first installment in the Mastering Minesweeper series. A series of guides that will cover the very basics, which is this video, all the way to advanced patterns and theories. So this video will just be a very introductory lesson on the rules that'll hopefully give you a foundation to be able to start playing Minesweeper. So first of all, we have a bunch of tiles here, and underneath each tile there may or may not be a mine. If you click on a tile that has a mine underneath it, then you lose the game. But the goal of Minesweeper is to uncover every tile on the board that is safe and does not have a mine. Whoops. So the only way, without getting unbelievably lucky to do this, is by using numbers. So as you can see, some of these uncovered tiles here will give you numbers, and basically these numbers will tell you of the 8 surrounding cells how many mines there are. So for example, let's look at this one right here. So this square right here means that these 8 surrounding tiles right here, of those, there's 1 mine. If we look at this 2, this means that of the 8 surrounding tiles, there are 2 mines. We don't know where they are necessarily yet, but there are 2. This 3, same thing, but now there's 3 mines total. And you can see that not all of the surrounding tiles have to be necessarily covered. Like this 3 only has 5 tiles surrounding it that are uncovered, so we know that of these 5 specifically, there are 3 mines. So for this 2 right here, we know that there's 2 mines in the surrounding 8, but since there's only 3 tiles that are surrounding it, then we know that of these 3 specifically, there's 2. So with this, we can start forming some basic logic. So for example, if we look at this one right here, we know that of its 8 surrounding tiles, which are these, there must be 1 mine. But as you can see, there's only 1 tile that it is touching. Only one of these 8 is actually a covered tile. So by this logic, we know that this tile has to be the mine, since there aren't any other options. So when you think you found a mine, you can flag it. You can usually on PC it's right click, but I use W so as to not mix up right and left click, because that's happened a lot. But you can flag it, and this just keeps track of the tiles that you assume to be mines so that they're easier to see for later on. So we can look at more examples of this basic concept, just like this one. Alright, so right here is a similar example of what we saw before. So if we look at this one, for instance, we know that there's only 1 mine and it's surrounding 8 tiles, but again, similar to last time, there's only 1 tile. And we can kind of establish this as a pattern, as we can call it the corner 1. So if you see a 1, and this is very common, there's actually I think 6 right here just on the screen right now. But if you see a 1 on a corner where it's only touching 1 tile, you know you can immediately mark it as a mine. And as we look around here, there are, definitely more. So here's another 1 only touching 1 cell, so we know it has to be a mine. Same thing with this one, it's on a corner, so you can mark that. This one as well, you can mark that. And there's even 3 more. There's one here, here, and there. So just by using this corner 1 pattern here, there's another one here, we were able to assume the position of 8 mines. Now, similar to that 1 pattern we just covered, 2s have a similar pattern. So if we look at this 2 right here, we know that of its 8 surrounding tiles, 2 of them must be mines. But as you can see, there are only these 2 tiles in its 8 tile vicinity. So we know that we can just mark them off like so. We have a similar situation down here. If we look at this 2, we know there must be 2 of its surrounding 8, but it's only touching these 2, so we can immediately deduce that they're mines. And this 2 right here, same exact thing, only touching these 2 cells, so we know that they must be mines. And similar to 1s and 2s, 3s again have the same thing, and 4s. So for example, if we look at this 3, it's only touching 3 cells, and again we know there must be 3 mines in its surrounding 8, so we can just mark the only 3 that it touches, since we know that they have to be mines. And if we look at this 4 up here, similar idea, must be 4 mines around it, but there are only 4 cells that it touches, so you can mark all 4 of these as mines. And just a handy thing with the 3s that I think is pretty neat is that it's kind of a nice pattern to see. If you just see a 3 along a wall, like a flat wall, no other uncovered tiles like over here, it's just a flat wall with some open space, then it's really easy to just mark the 3 that it touches along this wall. So it's always nice to see a 3 along a wall like this. We actually have one up here, 3 along a wall, so you can just quickly flag those as mines. Now, just as we were able to deduce which tiles certainly have to be mines in certain scenarios, we can deduce which tiles have to be safe in certain scenarios. So if we look right here, we see we have corner 1 right here, so we know we can just mark this as being a mine. But now let's look at this one. So we know that there must be 1 mine and it's surrounding 8, but we already know the location of that mine. So by using this kind of inverse logic, we know that these 2 must be safe, since there can only be 1 mine surrounding it. So we can just uncover these 2. And by the way, handy tip to do that is by cording. So if you already have the amount of mines required to fulfill a certain number, you can click on that number and it automatically uncovers the rest of the tiles surrounding it. So handy trick there if you want to save some time. But we just uncovered another one here, and we can actually use the same logic as we did for this one. So this one has to have 1 mine, 1 and only 1 mine, and its surrounding 8 tiles, but we know which tile has the mine. It's this one. So we can uncover these 3 since we know that they must be empty, since its quota is essentially fulfilled, or matched is a better word, can't go over. So we can just uncover those 3 just like that. And we happen to uncover another one, same exact thing. There must be 1 mine surrounding it, but we already know its location, so we can uncover everything else around it. So that would be these 3, just like that. So just by using this inverse logic of knowing which tiles have to be safe, we uncovered, 7 tiles, just like that. And we can do a similar thing for our 2s. So for example, we have this 2, if we look at it, it only touches 2 cells, so we know that these 2 must be mines. And now if we take a look at this 2, we know that there must be 2 mines surrounding it, but we know the location of those 2 mines. So we know that every other cell in its surrounding 8, which in this case is just this cell, has to be safe. So we can uncover it just like so. And of course this logic goes for any number except for 8s, but we have our 3 on a wall pattern here, so we can just quickly mark these 3. But as you take a look here, we look at this 3, so we know that there must be 3 mines surrounding it, but we know which 3 they are, 1, 2, and 3, so we can uncover the remaining tile, which is this one. Now sometimes it can seem scary or just seem like something's wrong when you're doing this kind of logic. Like for example, this 1, we know there must be 1 mine and it's here, which will uncover all these cells, and it's just important to note that this is common. Sometimes you'll just have a bunch of tiles that you can uncover at once. Just remember that there are a lot more safe tiles than mines, so something to keep in mind, just to double check yourself, is just think of it like you're trying to match the number of flags to the number. I feel like that's the best way to just double check. Like just make sure that the amount of flags around the number correspond, just like you're filling up a quota or something. And yeah, in this instance we actually do get all these tiles to clear out, so it does happen sometimes. But yeah, so that is pretty much it for this first introductory lesson to Minesweeper, and hopefully this provides you with foundation to start getting out there and making progress on some boards. Now of course there is a lot more to learn, lots of patterns and just ways to improve your longevity when playing the game, and just your chances of winning. But yeah, the next episode in this series will be an exemplary game, which will showcase and just be a walkthrough of all the principles and concepts in this video, and will hopefully show you how to utilize them in actual games. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.